So that's probably a little bit of the ticking we heard. So I just spun the motor over to get this one to come up a little, and then I was able to grab it. That's the end of the lifters. My new cheap China lifters I put in, trying to fix it. And it didn't work. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But we're going to try a different route and do a full delete this time. Change that cam, because that cam did take a beating. And even though I looked down in the lifter holes and looked at the lobes while I spun it, I don't see any damage visibly, but I want to get it all the way out. Check them cam bearings and stuff and see what we got. So we could probably get away with using this cam. I don't think that was the problem. I could have probably got away with just putting lifters, a better set of lifters instead of the cheapest China that I could find online. But again, everything I keep reading and seeing online says that you cannot use these regular lifters on a stock AFM cam, because supposedly these lifters, the lobes that these are riding on are supposed to everything I've seen online is showing that those lobes are supposed to be smaller ground, and so that if you put standard lifters all the way across, then those 4 cylinders, the lobe is ground different for the AFM lifters, and that it'll have a little less compression. Now, this is what I'm hearing and reading online and stuff like that and seeing. Now, whether anybody's actually tried it, I don't know. I definitely haven't tried it. I sure am tempted. I should have, but not after going through all this trouble. I'm going to do it right. I don't want to be messing with it again, I hope. So anyway, one of these lifters, if I can find it real quick, they say that the lobe is ground so differently, smaller, that on those 4 cylinders, you're going to get a lower compression ratio, and it can create a skip to where the ECM can actually set the light saying that it's got a misfire. I don't know if I believe that or not. You use the same push rods on all 8 cylinders, all 16 rods, same rockers, and I'm going to show you side-by-side comparison now. This is your AFM lifters. This is an AFM that the spring, it fell apart inside there when I took it out. And then this is a standard lifter that I'm going to replace all 16, because I do have the AFM turned off in the computer. I sent it to lt1swap.com, had him reprogram it, cut that off, disable it, send it back to me. Very cheap. It was only like $50 or something plus shipping. Couple days, got it right back, no big deal. So that's definitely who you need to deal with, people, if you're doing this, or you just want to have it turned off and disabled before you run into this problem. If your AFM lifters are not having an issue, you may want to go ahead and do this before. because they will give you an issue. It's just a matter of when. And so anyway, this is a side-by-side comparison. This is your AFM lifter missing the spring. It's designed to collapse, disable that cylinder, and then the spring would take up the slop, so the push rod don't actually open the rocker and doesn't just sit there making slapping noise, unlike when they fall apart and will tick. But I can't see anything. It might be a hair. No, because the plunger's deep in there. If I line them plungers up on the top, that's the same size there. Same roller on the bottom. Same size lifter. So why would it matter? If you know, please leave me a comment, because I do not believe it. Actually, what I should have said is, if you've actually tried it and it did or did not work, please let me know in the comments. I really want to know from somebody that's actually tried it. Putting the standard LF7 lifters on an AFM cam, did it run good or not? I don't want to hear any, oh, well, so-and-so said you can't do this, or I've seen a video that said you can't. I want to know, has anybody actually tried it? Please drop me a comment on that. Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to try to take a look at these cam bearings. I can see that one's got some pretty bad wear there on it. And it's really hard to see. I can see the second one in there. You probably can't see it on camera, but I can see the copper look there. And it's really hard to see with the camera because I'm holding the light there too. But the front one's pretty rough, and I can see the back one look the same way. Very bad pitting and stuff on it. Oh yeah, that's not just dirt, that's wear right there and stuff. So I am glad I'm going to go ahead and do these bearings. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and order the tool while I'm ordering this other stuff. I can get the tool for 47 bucks on eBay, brand new. So I might as well just go ahead and do it. It's not worth me carrying the block over to the local machinist and paying him to do it. I'll just buy the tool. That way I got it on hand if I ever need it again for anything I'm doing around here. But hell, he's going to charge me more than 47 bucks, so I might as well get a little learning experience. All right, so luckily I do have a table over here, a big metal table. I just put some cardboard on it, and that way I can have all my parts laid out as I took them off. Timing cover and all the bolts for it, my flywheel bolts. I'm sorry, that's the rear cover I meant. This is the timing cover and bolts. Need to take my puller off the balancer, but the cam plate, which I'm ordering a new one of these because the gasket is totally flat. And that can create a big hazard in the oil pressure there if that thing leaks into the block instead of the galleys. That's the bolts for it. Got my trays, which I'm trashing. I'm going to replace the heads. I don't know. I'll probably just clean them up again like I did last time I put them on. I don't know that I'm actually going to go have them resurfaced or anything. I didn't have any issues there as far as overheating or none of that junk. I do have my good parts washer here. That's the CRC Smart Washer, so I can clean everything up. I do need to do a video for this one day for y'all. It's a really cool parts machine. It doesn't use the solvent, uses the microbes. Actually, I've got the wash over here, filters, and the Ozzy juice. Ozzy juice. No relation to Ozzy Osbourne. But anyway, so it's good to have a table or somewhere you can lay everything out and keep it separated. You might want to put your bolts in bags and label them if you can't remember where they're going and stuff like that. But I'm good at stuff like that. I can figure it out even if I come back a week later or whatever. I'm good at man puzzles. One thing I did do was I put all my parts in the smart washer, parts washer, and as you can see, it came up pretty clean. I didn't have to use anything to scrub that except the brush that's in the assembly over there in the machine. Cleaned up all my surfaces, even did the timing chain and stuff. I'm reusing it. Like I said, there was really nothing wrong there, and I'll decide if I'm reusing the guide or not, but it's still nice and tight, springy. Did the screen, made sure everything was clean there. Did all my rocker assemblies and went along and checked every one of them for the needle bearings, make sure they're in good shape. Did the valve covers inside and outside. Pretty much can do everything. It doesn't hurt rubber because this is the CRC Smart Washer. Did the oil pan and windage tray. And I'll tell you, this thing was stained bad. Very nasty. Same with the oil pan. It didn't get everything off, but this stuff, after it sat in here for a while, I even took a Scotch Brite pad, and this just will not come off. It's kind of stained. Took my plate off here, and of course there was a bunch of gunk and stuff built up in the bottom there. Got all that cleaned out, and tell you, the old smart washer works pretty good. I got it turned on right now. It's not warmed up yet because I just plugged it in. It takes, about an hour for it to really get good and hot. But I do have it sitting here just running on the surface of the head, and I got my ports filled up. They're not leaking down. You probably can't see that, but that's actually fluid there. But I've got them, actually that one leaked down. So that valve has not a very good seat. So these are all still full. Got fluid in them. I did the exhaust the same way. All the exhaust held, but this intake here is leaking a little, so I may have to pop this valve out and lap that seat, or check it and see what's going on. But more or less, I'm just letting it warm up, and then I got the brush here. I can go along and make sure I get everything real good and clean. But I'm letting the Aussie juice run on it. I'm letting it get warmed up, and then that way it's just breaking everything loose, so when I do come back and hit it in a little while, that stuff will rinse right off nice and easy. And not only am I, oh yeah, that one definitely ran out, but see, just putting that in there is cleaning the port, plus it's cleaning the seat of the valve. Even if it is running past it, it's cleaning it. So we'll try that a couple more times and see what happens. I may have to take that intake valve out and clean that seat. Alright, so here we are with the new cam. I'm going to lube it up. New cam bearings are in. I hope I did a good job. I guess we'll find out in a second here. We're going to hope and pray the cam slides right in and doesn't have any kind of anything giving it friction, holding it back. This is the front side of the cam. We're going in this way. So I'm just going to lube up these journals real good. Not real worried about the actual cam lobes because they're roller lifters, and I'm going to soak the lifters in oil when I get them. So for right now, we're just going to do this. All right. Wish me luck. Here we go. Being real careful not to scratch or scar anything. Sometimes it helps you get a little turn while you're going in with it. Okay. Of course, people use cam alignment tools and all that good stuff. I never have. I've always just pushed them in more or less. All right. Well, it's in and it's spinning pretty good. Hell yeah. All right. I think we might have success there. I don't feel any play, but I can spin it nice and smooth. It's a little bit of, I don't want to call it friction necessarily because it's not rough. It's smooth. But that thick assembly lube is giving it just a little resistance. There's the word, resistance. Ooh, yeah. Me like. I've went more than 360 degrees with it. I'm just trying it out because I'll tell you what I didn't like was when I first took the bearings out of the pack, slid it onto the new cam to check it, had a little rock to it, little slop rock. So I thought, man, I got the wrong bearings or the wrong cam, tolerance-wise. So I took the old cam and slid the new bearing on the end. Same thing, a little bit of rock. Took one of my old bearings, put it on the new cam. Very little rock at all, if anything, you know. Same with when I slid an old bearing on the OE cam. Very little to none. So I was hoping they are a little bigger because they're made to be pressed into these bores in the block, you know. And then that way they don't spin or anything. If they were smaller, they might spin. So I was hoping and praying when I put them in with the tool that it closed that clearance just a hair. And I think it did. It feels good to me. I hope oil pressure and all is good. I think if they were a little too big a tolerance, I'd just be able to just spin it real free. It's not just wobbling and spinning like that. So I think we're good. It's nice and snug. Just a little resistance. Like I said, I think that's because the assembly lube. All right. Another step down. That was pretty much the biggest step to me because it was a pain in the butt. That's why I'm sorry I didn't get it on camera, but I did. I was able to put all the cam bearings in with the cranking rods in here. What I did pretty much, my tool was the cheapest one I could buy on eBay. So this does not screw on like some of the kits. You buy the higher, probably $100 or something, they'll screw on. It didn't have anything in the end here. Now that's fine if you have the crank and rods out, because every time you put this through one journal, you're going to pull it out and lift the puck out. There's not enough room when you have the crank, the weights, and the rods and all in place. So what I did was I drilled it earlier and tapped it and put a bolt in here so it couldn't slide off. That, and I had to grind this down just a hair here because that middle bearing is the smallest journal and it wouldn't just slide through easy. I pretty much, when I was knocking that bearing out, I had to knock it all the way through, and I had to push it all the way through and out the other side. So I ground it down a little where it goes through all the journals fine with no issue, but it's still got a good lip to hold the bearings, no problem when you're driving the new bearings in. So pretty much I went all the way through and I dropped this bearing in with the magnet, lined this up. I had a Sharpie mark at 12 o'clock on the bearings to where that way when I punch it in, the oil galley matches up with the block. I went along and checked them all. They're still good. So I started down here, popped that one in, backed it up, put the bearing down in here for number 4, popped it in, backed it all the way up, dropped one in for number 3, put it on. Now I come all the way down here. I still used the centering cone because it was still here. Now I know everybody says for these two, you want to use the length of this to get it straight and bring it all the way through this way. Well, I didn't have that pleasure because I can't get this down in there. So out here on the end, I just used my judgment of what looked good to me and line it up with the crankshaft here, and I drove it home. I mean, I can't imagine how far off the cam bearing's that wide. How's it going to be offset in the journal, you know, as long as you have this relatively nice and straight. So anyway, I think it worked good. Let's get busy on the rest of it. All right, once again, I got the heads over here sitting in the parts washer. I turned it off earlier. I got pretty much everything clean here. I'm not sending them to have them shaved or anything. I think everything's going to be fine there. I'll take a straight edge and check them later, but I wasn't having any issues with overheating or anything like that. I've got 2 intake valves I still need to pop out, and because as you can see, these been sitting here an hour or so. This is full of the fluid. This one, that leaks down pretty quick, and I've got one on the other head near the end. Well, I forget which one, but I'm going to check those. Now, this is my cheapy eBay find. So $174 shipped to the door, has everything in it for the top end to do the delete, including the cam I just stuck in. It's a OE non-delete or non-AFM cam. Comes with the gasket and the new block off plate. I mean, that's $50-something just by itself, folks. So I've got that. We will install. Got my full set of head bolts, the big ones and the small ones. Comes with brand new crank bolt, torque to yield crank bolt. You need to replace that every time you pull the balancer, or so they say. Got my top end gaskets. I've got my head gaskets, which again, I don't see any problem with these. I don't usually like using the most extreme cheap parts, but I've had good luck out of them plenty of times. So I got both head gaskets, multi-layered. Got the front timing cover gasket. Got the front seal, goes on the balancer. Water pump gaskets, valve cover gaskets, exhaust gaskets. Now these are the aluminum with the little ridge there so it'll compress. I just had put those other intake and exhaust gaskets on. You know, I don't have hardly any miles on it because it was acting up. I had that little tick after I did the lifters. You've seen in the past videos when I got the truck a year or so ago, but I really haven't driven it. She's just been sitting outside. Comes with the LS7 style lifter trays, so it'll hold the LS7 lifters. And again, I'm going to tell you, these lifters look good. Oh my goodness, I'm really tempted to use them. My $174 kit with everything, but I couldn't bring myself to do it again because I used the cheap AFM lifters last season, or last year whenever I bought it, you know, in that other video. Oh, I already tossed them. And I had the one ticking, you know, give it a little tick. And then, as you've seen when I took it apart, the one spring had come off. So I'm really not that big on using those lifters. I ordered the Delco OE lifters. I got those off eBay with the authenticity guarantee for $95 for that set. They're supposed to be here tomorrow, so I'll wait on those, but I'm going to go ahead and push the motor back over here and get started on putting a couple more pieces on. Okay, I don't see anything majorly wrong with the valve or anything. There is a spot or two here that looks like it's just keeping it from seating 100%. So I do believe a light compound will work. I'm just going to use this good old compound I got from my dad. It's probably 30 to 50 years old, but it still works great. Haven't used it all up. This is the little bit grittier compound. I don't even think I need that because, like I said, the seat looks so good visibly. Just going to take a little bit. Put it around the edge here. Pop it in. We're just going to do a real light grind on it. Alright, so I'm going to take a little petroleum jelly and put it on the keepers right here, these locks. That'll help hold them onto the valve stem. Just need a little bit. Alright, and that's her. Give it a couple love taps there to make sure that she's all seated. And she's looking good, looking good. Always make sure they're seated good. You don't want to drop a valve. I'm going to go sit this back in the parts washer and fill that cylinder up. Let's see if she stops leaking. All right, Chef Boyar Steve here. We doing us a little lifter cooking today. Working up a treat, y'all. Pour in some of this good cooking oil, Haviland 1040. And we're going to drop us in some of these yummy, tasty lifters. Now these are the LS7 replacements for my AFM delete I'm doing on the Avalanche. I went with the factory Delco because I want this to be the last time I mess with the freaking motor. So we'll take this yummy morsel and drop it in. We're going to cook them at 350 for about 4 hours. Not really, just... All right, so we got a full. We're going to let them simmer for a while. It's already starting to bubble up a little. I stuck my finger in and checked it. It's pretty daggone warm, so I'm going to leave it another couple minutes and then turn it off and just let them sit and probably stir them a little. All right, thanks for joining Chef Boyar Steve on Vast Motorsports. All right, folks. So I was videoing me trying to do my first start, but the battery was totally shot. Don't want to come out of it. It's been sitting too long, dead. I only had 8 volts. As soon as I'd go to hit it, it would just click, and that was it. All lights go out. So I just grabbed one of my used batteries. It was just something old out of a boat. It does have full charge, it looks like, so I stuck that in. I don't have any of the front accessories on or anything right now. I just had the main stuff hooked up, like the exhaust. It's full of oil, and the fuel line's hooked up. I just want to start it and run it for a minute and see if it's quiet. Then I'll go ahead and put the rest of the front end on, you know, the fans, fill it with coolant, put the power steering and all that good stuff, and the belts. Let's hit it real quick. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Say a prayer. Let's see. We're going to find out together, y'all. This is the first start. Hope she starts. Hope she's quiet. Come on, y'all. Hopefully that's got the fuel rail primed up. All right. All right. Well, I don't want to run it too long like that because, like I said, I don't have any coolant, nothing in there. The hoses ain't even all hooked up. So let's hit it again, y'all. And I know it was noisy at first. I was expecting that, of course. They're brand new lifters. All the bearings, the cam bearings and all the top end, everything was no oil. Even the pump, I kind of cleaned the oil pump, just reused it. So I had to take a few seconds to pump everything up. And I'm going to hit it again real quick. I do have mass airflow hooked up, so I wanted no lights on or whatever, but let's hit it again and see real quick. And then I'll probably just go ahead and put everything together so we can take her for a ride. Here we go. Hope for quietness. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hell, sounds pretty good to me. Considering there's no belt, no accessories, nothing turning. Sweet. Think we got her, y'all. Think we got her. Ooh, yeah. And good oil pressure up there. Okay, I'm going to turn her off. Yes. All right. That sounded really good. I'm not worried about a little smoke burn off. It's fine. Oh, boy. I think we got her, y'all. I think we got her. Let me get this stuff put together. Now, that is a lot better. I ordered these OE ones from Michigan Motorsports, I believe. They were $30 on eBay. Shipped to the door. They are the OEs. They got the part number on them right there. Factory GM. This is how it's supposed to be. You need to fight it in there. Make it click. That's how they should be. Not like them cheap, flimsy ones. So I'm glad I waited and got the right ones. All right, well, she is done finally. Seems to be running real good, nice and quiet. I'm glad. I let it sit way too damn long. It's too nice of a vehicle to just have it sitting out here with all these other vehicles. And real nice interior and stuff. LTZ model. Wish it was four-wheel drive instead of two, but it's not. But check this out. Listen. Woo. Oh yeah, nice and quiet. Me like. Quiet in here. That's where it was really noisy before. When you got down like that, it almost had me thinking something was wrong in the bottom end of the motor. It was so bad. Let's go for a quick little ride. I got some lights on. The check engine lights on for the emission valve. It's on the fuel tank there where the gas goes down the filler neck. Yeah, this has the issue. A lot of these are prone for it. When you go in to put the fuel in, it's really slow. Man, I need to wash this thing. It's been sitting under the trees so long. Sweet. And of course the fuel light's on because I'm low on fuel. But put the window up so you can hear. I like it. It's a nice riding one too. And this little street, it's pretty rough. But just letting you check out, hear how nice and quiet she is and how good she runs. I do love how nice it drives. So now I got to try to figure out if I'm going to keep it or sell it or what I'm doing. I don't know. Need to put my seatbelt on, but you know how that goes. Pretty strong. That's not much pedal there. Ain't like I'm goose flooring it or nothing. It's just a quarter pedal or so. Heck yeah. Love a LS motor when they're running right. Well, this one's definitely running right now, I'll tell you. Boy, I'm glad. Shut up. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. The good old Avalanche 5.3. AFM full delete the right way, y'all. The right way. Hell yeah. All right. So, thank you. I hope you enjoyed what you watched. And if you did, how about give me a thumbs up, please? Thanks for all you subscribers out there that watch my stuff. And if you haven't subscribed yet, how about do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification. Keep up with the upcoming videos when I put them out. You never know what we are going to be doing around here, folks. As you can see, I'm in the boats. Actually, that one's not mine. That one just got dropped off so I can winterize it and do full service and stuff to it. This one's Robbie's. Yes, you're welcome, brother. It's going to get a full service and stuff. But as you can see, I love classics. I need to work on them and get them fixed up and all that good stuff. My good old Maxim. I got boats all over the place down there. My good old Stingray right on the other side of this Stingray, the blue one. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed it. And do your 5.3 justice and delete it. Do it the right way. And that way, gets rid of all the ticks. You might have seen my past videos last year whenever I bought the thing. I brought it home and thought I was going to do just a cheap replacement AFM lifters and turn the AFM off in the computer. It did not work. Got rid of the knocking, the 3 collapsed ones, but it still had a tick to it that I did not like and I do not trust. Wasn't going to drive it like that. It's a shame it got put on the back burner for all this time. But anyway, she's ready to rock and roll now. Y'all have a blessed evening. Steve's out.